Now, we've been talking in other videos about to understand the plight of blacks and other things like that, but at the same time, we should be able to ask specifically blacks to do the same for the plights of others. Like this, what's his name? Cannon Hinnant. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. God bless his soul. God rest his soul too. He was murdered, and we have seen a very, very quiet response from the mainstream media and the black community. I mean, some people have even cheered about it. In fact, I've found more people cheering about it personally, and this is anecdotal, of course, than people like denouncing it or decrying it or whatever, And this is very worrisome. I've checked that again, anecdotal. The friends I have on my Facebook, many of which are left leaning, many of which are Democrats, etc., and not a single mention of this. But even I, who am not left leaning, did mention, and I have said in other videos very clearly, that George Floyd was murdered. Uh, you have all the stuff you say, like he was high out of his mind. He was already saying he wasn't breathing when he wasn't even touched, and other things, but still knee to the neck. I personally don't find it necessary still to this day, uh, and I can say that. But as I say again, I mean, sure, it happened just a few days ago. But if you Google Cannon Hinnant plus CNN, you're gonna find one article in the last 7 hours. But if you Google George Floyd CNN, there aren't enough pages in Google, I think, to get all the results. And of course, you can say, "Oh, this happened a long time ago." Sure, it's true. But if you just grab the same 2 days and look for the articles of the same 2 days, you're gonna find like what 17. I think I found. Check out yourself. I didn't even count them, to be honest. I just kind of like, okay, there's these at the same date. Okay, whatever. So that is very problematic. And some memes have been saying that they're just passing me something. Some memes have been saying that there's been a lot of quietness when this happens. When there's a crime, even a heinous crime as like this one, because it's extraordinarily heinous. Just signing a check. Day-to-day life keeps going on. There we go. When these things happen, there tends to be a media silence and such. And sure, the mainstream media is very polarized, it is very ideologically driven, but as individuals, we should strive to go beyond that. Like when I say what I say about George Floyd, it's not because I read it on CNN. In fact, I don't read CNN, I don't watch CNN. I'd rather pour acid in my eyes, but that's just me. But I do it because it's the right thing to do. And it's also the right thing to do to denounce these kind of things and to denounce the people who are literally cheering about it. I mean, why should me, a half Asian, half Latino, half pig, half white guy, etc., man, they're pig, say something about this, denounce whoever I see cheering about this, but like attracts likes. I'm pretty sure these people have more black friends than I do. Of course, they're black, and as I say, people tend to cluster around people who are like them. How come I'm the one who has to say something about it? Why didn't any of them do it? And dude, chill or whatever, dude, that sucks. Ew, that's cringy, whatever. Dude, you're just supposed to cringe. I mean, you don't even have to go all the way to report it. Why is this, right? Like, sure, you can have some issues with some people who have done bad, and that's another thing. You don't generalize. Just because if I were ever mugged by a black guy doesn't mean, oh, let's just exterminate 13% of the population. Of course not. So why would you take it the other way around? I mean, obviously this kid is 5 years old. He was born way after all these laws that we talked about before. He's even from the new generation, which we're talking about, should already be getting, like living off the poison of resentment and other things. Yet you still see it as okay for him to get killed. I mean, their silence is deafening. The silence from the left, the silence from the black community is deafening. So if someone were to tell me, what's the guy's name? I forgot the guy who actually shot the kid. That guy. he represents all Democrats, change my mind, my response to that is I can't. I have absolutely not a single shred of evidence, not one Facebook post, not one article, not one tweet, nothing from the left, nothing from the black community saying this was bad. Not even saying ugh, not even cringing, nothing. So when someone says, "Oh, this is whatever Democrat wants," they want to, it's okay for them to kill kids. I mean, it all starts to point that way because what about the pedophile ring? I don't see anyone. Well, there have been some, but mostly about trying to say, "Oh, Trump was also in Pedo Island," but not this big, like, "Oh, say something against Tom Hanks, say something against the Clintons, say something against Biden," and stuff like that. So this double standard, it's becoming a problem, and it's not helping in create this, this peace between races or ideologies, because this is the child sex trafficking goes beyond race. Oh, but that's another thing. Most children who tend to be that, in this sex slaves and all these tend to be white. That also doesn't help either. And finally, the media again, they always say white man killed black man, but when it's the other way around, not a single mention of race. Why is that? I mean, where's LeBron James saying this was a heinous crime? Well, I haven't checked his tweet. I'll be honest, I haven't checked this. So the door has to swing both ways. So, like I said, I can say whatever you want about George Floyd. As I said, even though he wasn't an angel, he did some very hideous things. I still say he was murdered. To this day, I still say he was murdered, he was killed, and the people who did it should be held accountable. The 4 people who did it. Not just the white guy, the Latino, the black guy, and the Asian who were in that group. Which, I mean, they're even almost as mixed as I am, so. But how come it's only Chauvin? He's the one in the pictures. So grow beyond the media, and again, please, the door has to swing both ways. Say something, even a post. Start doing. I know it's an effort. I know it's like hard because you're not used to saying this. You're not used to denouncing, for example, your own, or in the case of Democrats, the races you consider inferior than does require welfare because they can't take care of themselves. I don't consider it that way. Start doing something, denounce this, send condolences to the family, something. Don't just stay quiet about this. Silence is deafening. It's really deafening. Door must swing both ways. Have a great one.